When I first began to play golf properly, as a teenager 50 years ago, there was no question that I enjoyed it. It cost me nothing. My father paid. And in singles or foursomes, it never took me more than 3 hours to get round the course. And those priceless values were a given so far as I was concerned. I simply didn't realise how lucky I was. But I did understand that Lindrick, my home course in those days and for many years, was a classic course, and it posed a challenge to which I was rarely equal. Now, by the mid-1970s, it was becoming clear to me that my golf was under threat. Not from expense, not from slow play, because 3-hour rounds were still the norm, but from American and TV-inspired methods of greenkeeping, which turned greens into bogs and negated the challenge I enjoyed so much. Now, seeing this happen on many other classic courses, including many famous links, even the old course, made it inevitable that I would come within the orbit of the great man himself, Jim Arthur, to whom golf owes such a debt. And it was largely because of Jim that I've spent the last 25 years or so trying to help the Royal and Ancient Golf Club, and latterly its successor, the R&A, persuade clubs and recreational golfers to manage their turf and roughs in ways which were in harmony with their own site and resources and the climate. And over that time, I think I was just too busy to notice that the two elements I took for granted, affordable golf and a 3-hour round, were becoming corrupted to such an extent that the very challenge of the game that I used to enjoy so much was disappearing. So even if the course is restored to its classic form, as we see out here, and assuming I want to afford it, then I'm sorry, but the 4.5-hour round just kills it for me, as does the boredom of hitting a wood for every second shot on most holes, on courses which are way too long for most of us, and certainly are for me. So the question which Lorne poses, how can the running game be made more enjoyable for golfers, for me, at every club, rests on 3 values. Firstly, the quality of the challenge. Is the course itself in good health, both architecturally and agronomically, for 12 months of the year? Secondly, is the golf affordable, both in terms of paying for the round and for the equipment we use to play it? Does it represent value for money? And finally, can it be played in a time frame which fits modern society? And bear in mind that if golf is to hold its own or even grow its footprint, it needs to appeal to all ages and abilities. What sort of game will we pass on to the next generation? Ticking all 3 boxes surely brings success, as we see here today. At its best, that means fine golf. And most of the many factors within the overall mix are within the control of a club. The only ones which are not, I would submit, are the climate, the equipment used to play the game, and the rules. And even those caveats are not as well defined as they might seem. But very rarely, in my experience, does the golfing consumer get asked to debate on a strategic level the quality of the product he or she is asked to consume. This seems fundamentally wrong, because it prevents consumers from making informed choices about what is too difficult or too slow or too expensive. Now, I accept that some decisions need to be taken behind closed doors in committee rooms, but public debate on issues which affect all recreational golfers should surely be encouraged. And my prediction is that this will happen, because the age of internet communication is opening up great opportunities for invigorating, in constructive fashion, golfing institutions which need to respond to the challenges faced by the game. And I mean institutions in the broadest sense, the golfing media, the clubs themselves, as well as national or governing authorities. And if you want a flavour of how that can work, check out the USGA's website and take on board their Pace of Play initiative, launched in February this year. To conclude, many of you here today, I know, are working very hard to deliver a game which is fit for purpose. It will be very instructive to talk about the remaining barriers to success as you see them, because we can all learn from such debate.